Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Island Forward live episode. We're alternating the live stream one week with one of the posted videos on the opposite weeks. So I'm excited to be here again talking with you guys live. Looking forward to questions, comments, feedback. Again, this is not about me just sitting there and talking to the camera. It's not just about me sharing my own personal views and views that I come across. I really want this to be as interactive as possible. So feel free to send those comments. Those comments do stay after the video is posted. We do share it. And you can see in the videos section here on Jamaicans.com on the page on Facebook, we have an Island Forward set of videos. So you can actually go and look at that. So you can see all the past ones that we've done as well. So I'm excited. I especially want to say thank you for those of you outside of the United States who are watching. We tend to get people, especially in the UK and Canada. This specific time is chosen so that our brothers and sisters in the UK can be just coming home from work and take a view and participate. So that's what we want to do. Here we are today. The video that was posted along with the calendar invite for this event today was me being on Bloomberg TV. I was on Bloomberg last week Friday. Spoke at 4:40 p.m. Eastern, and they had me on the show. What do you miss? And it was to talk about the performance of the Jamaica stock market, and they also wanted me to talk about Bloomerhole Capital Partners and what we were working on. A lot of people are giving me positive feedback on the video, but one thing in particular stood out for a lot of people, and it was the host specifically asked me, when you're standing in front of or in the office of some of these investors, what do you talk to them about Jamaica? How do you sell them on why Jamaica? Is it nearshoring for US companies? That's what he started with. And so that's, we know, the call centers, business process outsourcing, the BPO sector is now one of the most famous parts of Jamaica in terms of the industries that's growing. And I said, well, outsourcing is one. But what you should really be thinking of is that Jamaica could be the Singapore of the Western Hemisphere. That's how they need to see it. And the host reacted very incredulous. He was like, oh, Singapore of the Western Hemisphere, that's bold. And I said, well, yes, it should be. And so he was a bit surprised. And then I went into my reasons for why I felt that Jamaica has the potential to be seen as the Singapore of the Western Hemisphere. This is something I've been saying for decades. I grew up in a household in Jamaica that talked about Singapore a lot, as well as other countries, Costa Rica and so on. But we especially talked about Singapore, studied it. My parents bought me books about Lee Kuan Yew, and his book From Third World to First was a book that they gave me to read as well. All of those things helped me to believe that Jamaica could not replicate Singapore, right? And we can't take everything from Singapore. But Jamaica could hold a similar position in the Western Hemisphere that Singapore has in the Eastern Hemisphere. I spoke last fall, I believe it was October or November, that the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, had me in Jamaica as a keynote speaker for their accelerator graduation. This was the third cohort for their accelerator program. And I challenged those graduates to think about Jamaica being Singapore in the Western Hemisphere. And then I gave them the reasons why. And I'm going to go through the same exercise I did with them and see what kind of reactions we might get here via the comments. But I started by asking them, telling them I was going to talk about two countries, Jamaica and Singapore. I'm going to name some things about them. And then you need to tell me which country it is. And so same exercise we're going to go through. So this country was crucial to the British Empire. Is in a tropical climate and had a very small population. Which country is that? Jamaica or Singapore? Of course, the crowd looked at me puzzled and said, both. Okay then. And this country benefited from a canal being built that shaved massive time of global shipping. This country had a British colonial background for more than a century. This country has one of the largest naturally protected harbors in the world. Which country am I talking about? Jamaica or Singapore? Once again, the crowd looked at me puzzled and said, both countries. I said, okay, well, let's go again. This country is majority one cultural group, but there are other groups within it that form part of the culture, out of many one people. This country speaks more than one language, it's multilingual. And which country is it? Jamaica or Singapore? Again, they realize, wow, I didn't think about that. Both countries. So I said, okay, well, let's try again. This country got independence in the mid-19th century, joined the federation, left the federation, and struck out on its own. Which country is it? And that pause, a few people paused, and then somebody blurted out, both. Singapore used to be a part of the Federation of Malaysia, and they got independence around 1959 or so. So similar time to Jamaica, Federation breakup, right? Jamaica was a part of the West Indies Federation. So both countries again. So we've gone through a number of things that were very similar. And I said, all right, guys, one more, and then you can tell me which country it is. I said, this country had a charismatic leader who had a bold vision for the country, had zero tolerance for corruption, ensured that education of their people was the most important thing. Which country is that? And immediately everybody said, oh, that's obviously Singapore. That's obviously Singapore. The biggest differences are they had zero tolerance for corruption and they invested in education. Lee Kuan Yew says in all his books that they had to invest in their people because Singapore is a city-state. They have no hinterland, right? It's not rural. They can't even grow their own vegetables. They import their own water. And Jamaica has massive amounts of arable land that we can grow. So to the extent that we're spoiled, Jamaica is spoiled with the land that we have available to grow things. Singapore would love to have our land. But it seems that we've had the same issues as if we had oil, right? When you have a lot of it, you waste it. Nigeria is a great example of that. And we're all hoping Ghana learns from those lessons. But those are some of the very important similarities that I see between Jamaica and Singapore. For the canal side, it's the Panama Canal, and that's Jamaica. Suez Canal, Singapore. Singapore is next door to a very large market, China, as well as Southeast Asia. Jamaica is next door to a very large market, the United States, but connected to Latin America as well. So if you look at the globe, perfect alignment for what we could be. And Jamaica is already a major transshipment hub. So I want to say hello to the people from New Jersey. Big up Zerika. I see Beverly saying hello. Hi Beverly. Hi Sophie. Good afternoon. Good evening Beverly. And watching from London. I hope that I hope it's not raining over there. I hope it's been a good day for you. I really appreciate you just saying hello to me. It makes me know that I'm not alone. As much as I see the counter, we have 43 people watching live right now. It's still good to see some comments pop up. I know that you guys are engaging. But those were the characteristics that I pointed out about Jamaica and Singapore. And I don't think most Jamaicans have thought about it from that standpoint. You know, whenever we talk about, why we can't be like Singapore, we talk about all the differences, but we don't talk enough about the similarities. And then my question to that audience is, why have we not accomplished what we know we can accomplish? If you take a Jamaican out of Jamaica and stick them in almost any other country, especially US, Canada, UK, but anywhere, you take them out of Jamaica, same person, same education level, and stick them in another country, you see how much they achieve. I think we can agree on that one. We punch above our weight wherever we go. People clamor for our teachers. They want us to work in their business. They especially want us to work in the medical field, right? US, Canada, UK, they're flying down to Jamaica and recruiting teachers. We have Jamaican teachers now who are working in Dubai, right? They're in Saudi Arabia. The Middle East is recruiting them from the UK, taking some from Jamaica. Oh, we got Kansas City, Leeds, New Jersey again. Georgia is right in New Jersey. Sorry to hear that, Jericho. It's a good thing I don't have like this nice, sky behind me. So at least you don't know what's happening out here. I won't say anything. But I think we have to admit that Jamaicans taken out of Jamaica excel. Amazing compared to almost anybody else. This is not because I'm Jamaican I'm saying that. We can walk into a hospital and ask them, Jamaican doctor or nurse work here? First thing is the answer is yes. And then what do you think of their work ethic? And I guarantee you 100% of the time, always the same response about their work ethic. So that is something that needs to happen more in Jamaica, right? But there are people in Jamaica who are excelling there as well. We have people who have not left Jamaica who excel. So that needs to be unleashed. So we're getting a question from Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. You're a top fan. I say that. Well, I should actually acknowledge Donna as a top fan as well. It says, why does Singapore have the ability to tap into their resources and Jamaica doesn't? We have the intelligence, so why not? And I love that you put it that way, Michelle. We do have the intelligence and we've proven that we can do it. Singapore did something different from Jamaica. Singapore created a conducive environment to it being tapped, right? Singapore doesn't have a brain drain problem. Singapore invested in education and ensured zero corruption. So we start with two things. Education system, zero corruption. Jamaica has not done either. When was the last time that a new school was built in Jamaica? I don't think you're going to like the answer when you go and Google that one. So that's the first one. Corruption, Jamaica is definitely not zero corruption. We definitely are not even close to taking corruption seriously. So that's number two. So we have two problems. The environment that people are in is going to determine how much they can grow. Think of it as a plant, right? You can plant a seed in great soil, mediocre soil, or sand. The country is the soil. Give people better soil. Give them light and water. That plant is going to grow into an amazing tree. If you put it in the most amazing soil, but you don't give it good oxygen, you don't water it, you're not going to get a good tree and it's not going to produce amazing fruits. So we need to give a better environment within Jamaica. I would say that is what we have not done versus Singapore and versus some other countries, Costa Rica and others that have outperformed Jamaica when they shouldn't have. Jamaica should be just as good as Singapore from a performance standpoint, GDP standpoint, pulling millions of people out of poverty. And that's what it comes down to, that they tapped into the resources because they had to. Singapore had no choice. They didn't have land. Jamaica stuck doing, we're going to still grow coffee, we're going to still grow banana, we're going to still grow sugarcane. Really? Commodities are where we're going to see the future going? That's not what makes countries rich. That is not what is going to lift people out of poverty. China did not take tons of farmland and start growing more stuff and exporting more farm produce. In fact, they took some farmland and converted it into cities, set aside space for factories, trained their workers, and then became the world's factory. You need to create value-added products. Jamaica has not tried enough, and we had really expensive electricity. Thankfully, that's coming down, so now we can see that manufacturing side pick up. But that's what I would say on that one. Jennifer is saying we do have a lot of, coronavirus wipe that out, ouch. So Jennifer is saying we do have a lot of similarities, and yes, Jamaicans are very spoiled, and we're the ones that do it to ourselves by coming away and working hard and sending back the money so they can sit on their butt and not work. I think that's very harsh, Jennifer, because a lot of the people who receive remittances are working hard in Jamaica as well. So I want us to be careful about how we demonize people in Jamaica who are receiving money from us. These are family members, right, who are working. Some of them don't care. They just want to receive the money. But there are other people who are working really hard. They're busting their butt down there. So we need to give credit where credit is due and not use a minority of the people to then paint with a broad brush. So that's what I'd ask Jennifer, is that we be careful about painting with broad brushes. But at the same time, Lee Kuan Yew famously came to Jamaica in the 1970s, I believe 1975. Made a comment about Michael Manley, and it's in his book from third world to first. And he said that Jamaicans had grown lazy, hard work they had left behind with slavery. So he felt that we got independence, and then that was it. We were free, we're good, and we stopped working hard. If you look at Jamaica's labor productivity in every decade since 1970, our labor productivity has gone down. Right? Trinidad has gone up, Barbados has gone up. So he was in line, and Jennifer is in line when she talks about lazy, that word. If you measure performance based on labor productivity, Jamaica has a declining labor productivity. So wages go up, but you produce less. That cannot be good for growing an economy. So we need to get out of this soon come mentality, this next week Caribbean people time approach. I think we know exactly what that is. It takes too long to get certain things done in Jamaica. We've been seeing good movement in the Doing Business Index, right? Jamaica is one of the top 20 countries in the world for starting a business. So their red tape is being removed. We need to do more, and we need to accelerate the pace at which we do it. I see Michelle now again saying, hey Jason, thanks for watching. So Michelle is saying, understood. So what's the solution? We need a larger nation to invest in the country because we're short on the financial state to do so. Well, so that's not totally true, Michelle. We already now have a debt to GDP ratio that's gone from 147% to 93% and heading down to 60%. That is freeing up capital to be invested. They just announced massive investments in hospitals and so on. We do have China providing low interest loans as well as grants to help the infrastructure. We had the French with Bouygues and so on that did the toll road. And so there's no question that we're seeing more investment. We have access to the money internally as well as the diaspora, which is not tapped and has never been properly tapped. So that needs to happen. And then we have multilaterals, the IMF, the World Bank, the Inter-American Development Bank, and then China and the United States. I'm sure we're going to have some money coming out of the Middle East as well. But yes, for international investors or lenders to provide capital to our country, you know what is the number one thing they want to worry about? Corruption. They want to know that the money is actually going to be used for what it's supposed to be used for, and that all of it goes towards the benefit of the populace. Jamaica needs to make sure that they fix the corruption problem, because it's not just perception, it's a real problem. The running joke that I've been given, and it was a Jamaican that gave me this joke, was that, years ago, they met a Brazilian and they went to Brazil for an event. Brazil government official picks up the Jamaican and they go to this conference, really get along, and to the Brazilian says, hey, let's link up. So they meet up for dinner. And the Jamaican politician is amazed at just the car that he's driving, the house, everything. Says, how do you afford this on a government salary? He says, oh, I'll show you tomorrow. So they meet in the morning. The Brazilian politician takes him out to a nuclear power plant and points to the nuclear power plant. And he's like, okay, why are you showing me this? And the Brazilian politician says, oh, you see that nuclear power plant over there? Yes. And he said, 50%. And the Jamaican is like, what? He's like, 50% of the money that was spent on that came to me. Oh, and Jamaican leaves. About 5 years later, the Brazilian politician comes to Jamaica, meets with the Jamaican. Wow, you've done really well for yourself. How did you do it? And the Jamaican says, meet me tomorrow. Take them out to a river. And then points and say, you see that dam out there? And the Brazilian looks and, no, I don't see the dam. And he's like, 100%. We need to deal with corruption. And we need to accept that. Right? We need to actually accept that. I'm going back again now. So we got some comments here. I wish we could come back to Jamaica and invest in our little island without fear of being killed. So that is a very important point. And Jericho, you're right. I go back to Jamaica every month. And I don't have any fear of being killed, I'll be honest. So that's a personal thing. That's something that you will have to deal with. I do think that there is certainly a group of members in the diaspora who feel that Jamaica is no longer what they left. They may not have been back for years or recently. Things change. Jamaica, in my opinion, is no less safer than New York or Chicago or Miami. There are places you don't go, there are things you don't do in all of these locations. By the numbers, the statistics, yes, Jamaica does have higher murders per capita, even at a city level. But New York is still way safer from a per capita level in terms of city. I get that. But at the same time, the majority of the murders are not just wanton. We have seen the diaspora targeted. So there is an issue there in certain places. And the diaspora, when you move back, we're going to need to have certain things in place to train them not to do certain things that might draw attention to them, how to be more focused on minimizing being targeted. But in general, visiting Jamaica is fairly safe. That is something that I tell everybody. If we have 3 million tourists visiting the country, it must be pretty safe at this point, right? We're having record stopovers. So you can invest in Jamaica, Zerika, and you can go back without having fear of being killed, I'll be honest. So hopefully you make a trip. If you need me to come with you, I'm happy to come along. Maureen, your family are the most important thing. If you left your homeland and made a better life for yourself, why not help family members who are struggling? Jamaica is so beautiful. I'm so proud that my parents come from JA. So I love that, Maureen. And I think that is important, that if you got a better chance and you've done well with that, and you now have the ability to help, then you should help. And we shouldn't call them lazy or good for nothing. We should help them. And we should ensure that they're using the money, though, to invest in themselves. Let's improve Jamaica, right? They shouldn't take the money and go buy a lotto. They should be taking the money to invest in education, invest in their healthcare, possibly invest in a business, but invest in bringing themselves up even further. So eventually you can stop sending. The point isn't for you to become a welfare source for them. Dottie, loving your comment. Let's see. I love Jamaica. I love Jamaicans. I have many friends who also work, but why do they beg from Americans to live in America? And so, Dottie, I'll be honest, Jamaicans in general have been conditioned, and not just Jamaicans. This is wherever, Africa, any African country, Latin America, they've been conditioned by Hollywood and American media to believe that America is a land of opportunity. So when you get to America, money run, make money. Jamaicans tend not to realize that we are here struggling as middle class, living paycheck to paycheck in most cases. And so they believe when they convert US dollars into Jamaica, they're like, wow, you're making a lot of money. But they don't understand your cost of living. And then a lot of us here in America, US, Canada, are not telling them, boy, we are struggling, We don't tell that. We also continue the impression management, driving a BMW. If you send the wrong signals, or they believe that that's the way it is, they're going to beg because they think you actually have extra money to send to them. So it is a matter of just being honest and say, hey, you hear someone make $5,000 a month for pay, but how much it costs me to rent my apartment in New York? Right? That is what we need to do, is be honest about how hard the struggle is when we move abroad. And so they can get that out of their head and out of their system. That's my personal thought. Michelle, again, I think Jamaica has lost its motivation because over the years, we've worked hard and not seen much progress. Well, not as speedily as they wish. I would say that for a time we lost motivation. I think that motivation is back in a big way now. When you have the Financial Times doing a 2-part series about Jamaica, when you have me sitting on Bloomberg TV last week, Friday, talking about the performance of the Jamaican market. And last year we had the head of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, Marlene Street Forrest, talking about it. We had the Minister of Finance in March, Nigel Clark, talking on Bloomberg. When the Wall Street Journal, when all these people, Miami Herald, all the international media are talking about the positive story coming out of Jamaica over the last 5 years, how we've turned a corner and become a case study for countries like Greece to understand how do you deal with this massive debt. People see stuff happening, right? We have 20 quarters of growth now. Jamaica has never had so many quarters of positive economic growth. I don't care if it's 0.1%, 0.5 or 1.8. It's positive. And it's 20 straight quarters, right? This is the highest net international reserves we've had. This is the lowest unemployment rate Jamaica's ever had. If you're not positive right now, I don't know how we're going to motivate you. Like, you need to not be glass half empty or half full. Like, we need to be thinking very clearly, like, man, this thing up. positive, get more optimism. But that also comes from leadership. So business leadership needs to be optimistic in the way that they talk. And then public sector leadership, right, from the prime minister on down, is crucial. If we have the opposition party be negative, that's also going to be hurtful. We do not need any pessimism in Jamaica. What we need is realism. We need to admit things are going great here, things are not going great over here, but here is what we need to do to get it done, and here is what we are doing to help get it done. And by the way, here's what we need you to do to get us to that part. Have everybody buy into it, right? We had Vision 2030 and we haven't had buy into that. You need everybody to buy into a vision of Jamaica in 10 years, right? 2020, 2030. Everybody needs to buy into it. Everybody needs to understand what's in it for them. That's the most important thing. What's in it for me? Everybody is going to ask that. They don't just sacrifice for everybody else. They're going to sacrifice first for themselves, their family. Then they will worry about everybody else. So communicate what's in it for them, how they can play a role in having Jamaica become the Singapore of the Western Hemisphere. And if that happens, what does that mean for you and your family? I think that is going to be crucial for us to build up that motivation. The Chinese enjoying our country more than us, Jamaica. Well, that's not true. I think actually the Spanish are enjoying the country more than us. Spanish investors have put more money into the Jamaican economy over the last 15 years than Americans and than Chinese investors, by far. You look at the hotels that they've built, the Spanish are investing, are enjoying the country more than us. But where's the diaspora doing the investments? We can't complain about the Spanish or the Chinese or even the Americans enjoying the country more than us if we as a diaspora have not come together as a collective or through our own companies to invest in Jamaica at that same level. I mean, when you spend $2 billion US to build an all-inclusive resort on the North Coast or Montego Bay, Negril, man, they expect to get a return. Why aren't Jamaicans coming up with those huge ideas, right? You can apply and get a casino license in Jamaica and build a casino. You have to invest a certain amount. You have to have 10,000 rooms or whatever the number is. Where are the Jamaicans here in the US, UK, Canada pooling together to go and do those things? That's my question. I know what I'm doing and working on, but how many more people exist that are trying? We need a lot more of us to that. Otherwise, I think we shouldn't be complaining about anybody else seeing the opportunity in Jamaica that we know is there, but we're not taking advantage of it. And I think that's on us. Money management is an issue. It's not flowing in the correct channels. Well, so I would disagree with that one, Michelle. When you look at Bank of Jamaica and their stats, we have good money management in Jamaica. Certainly it has fiscal management is amazing now, and that's thanks to fiscal reform, IMF, the World Bank, Inter-American Development Bank. What we're having a problem with though is money getting to small, medium and micro businesses, right? MSMEs. That is what we call a money transmission problem. The bank is now working on getting that unstuck. The Jamaica Bankers Association recently talked about this. They have a whole SME program rolling out this year. We've seen videos from JMB, Scotia and so on. And the idea is though, very simply, the reason is that you made money as a bank by buying government debt and lending money to the largest companies in Jamaica. You didn't have to lend to anybody else. Their entire system was designed to vet only large companies. So when you come in as a small business, want a loan, they didn't even know how to process or underwrite that. Their entire system was designed for big companies. Jamaica didn't have something like a small business association the way the United States has these opportunities to help us, right? The SCORE program here in the US. There are so many ways to help small and medium-sized businesses in the US. Jamaica finally has that. But most importantly, the US especially has been adamant about setting aside between 10 and 20% of contracts to be spent with small and medium-sized businesses. Right? You could be a prime contractor, but you had to subcontract to smaller firms a certain percentage. Jamaica has now done that. They've passed that. They've put that legislation in place through the Ministry of Finance, and it's going to have the government procuring a certain percentage of services from small and medium-sized businesses. So now we're going to see money not just going to the big man and the big woman that have the big company. But now we can get it spread more evenly with medium-sized businesses, which is more important, right? We need this entrepreneurial class that can scale up. They need business, and the government is one of the largest customers in any country. So we get in there, Michelle. Maureen is saying, invest in Jamaica. That's what's going to make Jamaica stronger. And that is true. And Maureen, that is investing money, and that is investing time, right? It's not just about money. You know that if you gave your child just money, waste, gone. Not money, dash away. You have to also provide expertise. You have to provide training. We have to provide knowledge. We in the diaspora have worked in a first world environment, a developed country environment. We have knowledge we can bring back to Jamaica. I've heard it, the way it's been put is to transform a brain drain into a brain gain. So an example I'll give you is that I am now on the board. We're about to announce it, I can say it here. Development Bank of Jamaica had done a venture capital program which I helped to launch. We are now doing a mentorship program where we're going to have a board, which I'm on the board, of mentors who will then mentor the larger group of mentors, probably 60, who will then mentor entrepreneurs and small business owners in Jamaica at no cost. And they want me to help get the diaspora especially on board. And we have some people, me here, a few of us in the US, Canada, and UK, that will help to bring all of you who do want to help, right? Whether it's, and this is online. We don't need to fly down to Jamaica. We've got Facebook, we've got Skype, we've got Google. We can share our knowledge and our expertise with our fellow Jamaicans on the ground as a mentor. And that's actually a more important investment than the money. If we can help train them and provide advice and knowledge transfer, those people will have an easier time raising money in Jamaica from resident Jamaican investors. So I love that, Maureen. Invest in Jamaica. I see Alicia saying, I'm an educational leader here in the US looking for opportunities to return and serve education in Jamaica. Let me know of any such opportunities. Investing in education is integral to Jamaica turnaround. 100% agree with Alicia. You need to send me a message as soon as you can. You can find me, David Mullings, on Facebook. You can go to my website, davidmullings.com. Fill out the contact form. Get me a phone number, email address. I want to get on the phone with you. There are opportunities right now, and Jamaica needs more of this kind of help, especially in education. You guys are seeing the news in Jamaica. You're seeing what's happening there. If we want to be competing at the level we should be at, right? This is Singapore level. Education is going to be the #1 priority, which directly impacts crime and violence. Let's be honest. That is important. As Erika saying, I'm not scared coming home, but I'm scared of opening a business, which is my dream. Well, there's so many people that have businesses down there, Erika. So don't be scared of opening a business in Jamaica. Be smart about where you open it. But I would definitely say, don't be scared about opening a business in Jamaica. Reach out to JAMPRA, Jamaica Trade and Invest. They really work with you, especially the diaspora, to help you get through whatever red tape you might have. And it's actually really easy to set up the legal entity of the business. Finding a location, leasing it, and so on is a different story. So please don't be scared of opening a business in Jamaica. Be careful what kind of business though. And obviously you need to think through location. Just like a real estate person would say. Location, location, location. Michelle is, well, I love how interactive you are, Michelle. That's why you're a top fan. Michelle says, corruption is over the top now. They'll need militia in the streets to fight the criminal element. Oh man, for such a small island, and I'm not sure it's the same in other islands, it's an atrocity. So number one, it is an atrocity. Number two is not the same as other small islands. Number three, corruption is not over the top now in Jamaica. I think that's hyperbole. When we finally can see a government that says, hey, we have a problem here. There are allegations, you have to resign. 2 ministers resigned. There's not, and they have investigations. One is arrested. They're in court. In my lifetime, that's never really happened. And I was born in 1981, where a prime minister says, hey, we have some allegations of corruption. You need to resign, step out. That cannot be said that corruption is over the top. Corruption used to be over the top. And Jamaica has turned a corner now. Most importantly, we have the Integrity Commission. And Greg Christie, our most famous contractor general, is back in the seat as the director come this June. I promise you, as someone that personally knows Greg Chrisley, things are going to change. Corruption is going to come down drastically after this. It is crucial. The IMF, none of these guys are playing with Jamaica anymore. I can tell you that. So, Hayden is saying Jamaica is the murder capital of the world, followed by TNT, corruption will never end. So, Hayden, you can't say that. You can't say that corruption will never end. Corruption can end, provided we do the right thing. So, corruption can end, number one. Jamaica is actually not the murder capital of the world, but it is number 3, right? But Colombia was able to reduce their murder rate, still high, but able to make reductions. Jamaica can learn from a lot more of that. It's going to take proper resources, but it's also going to take investments in the education sector. You can't, locking up people is not enough. Hanging people is not going to deter people. Getting caught, right, is important. People need to actually be worried about getting caught. Nobody in Jamaica is worried about getting caught. And after you get caught, you have to expect to have a trial and timeless. So justice system reform as well. But Jamaica definitely can end corruption. Winston said, thanks bro for the talk, it's very informative. Hey, that's what I'm here for. I just like sharing, giving us a place for all of us to come and talk about these things. So I appreciate that. Winston. Byron saying, stop the crime first before you start to compare places. But you have to compare places at all times, right? If you're going to stop the crime, you need a measurement. You have to measure things. There's a book called Measure What Matters. So I need an objective, and I need to measure it so I can know if I'm progressing or not. The World Bank has made it very clear. If Jamaica could bring its crime rates down to just the level of Costa Rica, it would generate 5.4% GDP growth per year. 5.4%. Now, hands up if you have been alive in Jamaica to see 5.4 GDP growth. Enough said. So they go hand in hand. It's not stopping crime first before you compare places. You compare places first to understand what did they do to reduce crime and reduce corruption. What can we take from them and translate to Jamaica, and then continue to compare what their trajectory was when they started doing this. So I think that is crucial for us, Byron. Kai is saying, sure, but all this success not reaching the lower income earners. And so, Kai, I would disagree. That is not true. Most pension funds in Jamaica are the ones who are invested in a stock market that returned 500% growth over the last 5 years. And it's the best performing stock exchange in the world. Well, pension funds are teacher, police, right? A whole bunch of public sector workers have money in a pension fund. And the pension fund is primarily invested in real estate and the stock market in Jamaica, because you're not allowed to do private equity and venture capital like here in the United States. So people are not being told how it's benefiting them, but their retirement nest egg is benefiting greatly from the economic growth in Jamaica right now. What we want to see is more inclusive growth that has wages for the low income earners going up. But we did have a government, and I'm not political, I'm not partisan, but when the JLP got into power, they did raise the PAYE cap to $1.5 million a year, Jamaica. So you got a tax benefit, and that benefited low income earners directly. If we want to raise the minimum wage, well, that's something else that we do have to have a discussion about. But at the same time, remember, Jamaica's productivity has been declining every decade since 1971. Every decade. So that means that we produce less in the same amount of time. But wages have been going up, right? Wages in Jamaica are not the same as the US, where they've been stagnant, because we have a dollar that's been falling, so wages had to move at times to help balance us out. But if wages stayed the same since 1971 on a US dollar basis and productivity went down, it means that me as a business person paying you the same $100 and you're not generating the $100 worth of product. You're doing less. You're not as productive. If Jamaicans expect to have wages go up, productivity has to go up. That is a fundamental problem. Our workers are not trained, right? More than 70% of Jamaican workers are not trained for the job that they're in. That was a recent statistic that came out last year. It scared the hell out of me. So we need to invest in training. And then we have now a fourth industrial revolution. This is the digital economy. We need to be prepared for that. This is no longer some just using your hands and tools and welding or farming. This is a completely different world now. We need to retrain and upskill workers as well. Otherwise, Jamaica will definitely be left behind. And even more of the country will become a lower income earners. So we do need more inclusive growth. There's no question about that, Kai. But we also need to see more productivity. We need more training. We need more research and development spending in Jamaica. Alicia is saying, I agree with you about feeling safe in Jamaica. I do as well. My prayer is that more Jamaicans feel the need to return and invest, and that contributing citizens who can remain. We take as much as we can from the education system and then leave to build other countries or countries drain and then suffers from the result of that. If you are at all able, invest and do what you can for economy and people. And so that's an interesting way, Alicia, and I love that you end by asking that. I think it's important to realize that we don't leave to spite Jamaica. We leave because we get better environment to achieve our personal goals and fulfill our destinies. If Jamaica is not good enough to allow you to execute the vision you have for your own life, then go anywhere. Just because you're born on a piece of rock doesn't mean that you should be stuck on that piece of rock. You are not a plant. You don't have to grow where you are planted, right? Patriotism is something that we invent as humans. It literally is nothing. Yes, we should be giving back, and there's nothing wrong with going abroad and do as very well as Michael Leachin did in Canada, and then reinvest back into Jamaica, and he didn't move back though. We can go somewhere else, do very well, take advantage of that tax system, take advantage of their reduced corruption, their cheaper capital, their larger market, make money, and then invest back into Jamaica. And we don't have to move back to have a positive impact. So that's what I would add for my part for that. So thank you for that, Alicia. Garth is saying, I think the numbers will reflect the growth in Jamaica, but the issue is there is no trickle-down effect to help the lower class and less fortunate. What's the strategy to make that happen? So first of all, trickle-down economics is voodoo economics, as George Bush said, George Bush Sr. when he was running, right? Trickle-down don't work. That's not how it works. It has to be bottom-up economics. So a rising tide lifts all boats, but only if you have a boat. So we need to help people have their own boats or be able to get into other people's boat. In order to build their own boat, you need training and you need capital. That's it. You need training and capital. That means we need the education system to be better, and then we need access to finance to be better, so we can help somebody create a boat. If you want to get in somebody else's boat, they're building a company or have a company, you don't want to work in it, well, the person needs to be qualified to get in that boat. Otherwise, they get left behind as well. It's the same thing. So we need more investments to help build boats. That's it. And make people qualified to get in the boat. So I would say that's the strategy. So we invest in the training, retraining, upskilling, education, cheaper access to capital. And that's the first strategy. The second one I would say is that we could use taxation as a strategy. Jamaica is famous for having very, very low research and development expenditure. It's the opposite of Singapore. Singaporean companies, US companies, they spend a lot of money on research and development. So while we have pepper and pineapple and all these things growing in Jamaica, how much research and development is being done to process things differently or create new products from them. We're talking about bioplastics. There's huge opportunities that we could do in Jamaica. Guinea hen weed, we have marijuana. We already created, cannasol to cure glaucoma in the past. And Jamaica could do a lot more of that. So I would, if it was up to me, I would actually have a tax break for R&D spending like we have in the United States. Amazon is famous for paying very limited taxes here in the US because they spend so much money on R&D, and R&D counts as a tax write-off. If Jamaica was to ensure that companies who spent money on research and development didn't pay tax on that cash, that money would be reinvested in the company, training people, doing R&D, rather than being paid out as dividends to, guess what, the richest of the rich, the 1%. But that's me. I will talk to the Prime Minister next time I see him. I will pitch that one all day. I think those are some of the key strategies to help make sure that everybody else, especially the base of the pyramid, benefits. Because if the base of the pyramid is strong and they can move into the middle class, like we've seen in India and China, they actually contribute more to economic growth. And this is something I learned in my Econ 101 class at University of Miami, which was taught by a Trinidadian, funny enough. And is a marginal utility of $1, right? So if I already earn $1,000 a day, giving me an extra $100 for the month doesn't really mean much more to me, right? So if I'm a multimillionaire, an extra $100,000 doesn't change my life. And in fact, I save that money. I can't spend all that money. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, they just can't spend all of it. But if you're middle class and you're earning $100 a day and you got the extra $100, even for the week or the month, that money is going to be spent because you still have expenses for housing, for education, for transportation, for food. The marginal utility of $1 means more the further down the pyramid that we go, right? And so the base of the pyramid benefits the most from extra cash. And so we need to ensure those people have financial literacy training and actually can get more cash to then go and do things. And that's where you look at small business lending is going to be crucial to helping those people. I mean, my first job in Jamaica was with Jane Microcredit at the time, which is now Jane Small Business Loans Limited. And I spent a few months in charge of doing research. I had to do market research with all their top clients. At the time, 250,000 Jamaican dollars in 2001 was our top. And I had to go around the entire country, interview these people, and then present back to Earl Jarrett and the board, Oliver Clark, and the 3 USAID members. What should the company do for the next 5 years to scale it? And so I had to present that. That is when I understood what Jamaicans mean, what we mean when we say turn hand, make fashion. When I had to go to Coronation Market and I out in Gregory Park, post office in Portmore, and I was at Linstead Post Office in Savlamar, the Jamaicans that I met who are the lower income earners but were borrowing this money at exorbitant interest rates, pay it off in 40 weeks, gone to Panama, come back, they're sewing school uniform, just the things that they were doing. And I was blown away to see if they could get some equity capital or cheaper capital, they could scale their businesses in ways that would surprise the 1%. Amazing. We need to support those people more. Imagine if we had a diaspora non-profit with Jamaicans around the world contributing and getting a tax write-off, and that entity then provided grant funding to those SMEs who are already vetted through some of these microlenders in Jamaica, essentially Akiva.org. Those people would love that capital and they're not wasting that money. They would not waste that money. It would completely transform the Jamaican economy to have that happen. So we will be talking more. I am working on something with our group because we, the diaspora, need to put our money where our mouth is. But we also don't want to waste it. We don't have money to throw away, right? I certainly don't have money to throw away. So we need proper accountability. We need transparency. We need good governance. We can't throw away the money. But that's what I would do, Garth. I love that question. I appreciate that. Kai's asking me, what about opening more factories so there is more employment opportunities? So great question. The key thing is who is opening the factories, right? The government has proven that it can run business. In most countries, the government is horrible. So we don't want the government to open more factories. In fact, we have the FCJ, Factories Corporation of Jamaica, right now sitting on a ton of factory space trying to lease it out. So that's good. We see movement. I will give an example though. I love the question, Kai. One example I got, this was sitting with Michael Leach. Mike is a chairman of the Economic Growth Council, a close friend of mine and a mentor. And they were explaining to me on one of my recent trips that the Chinese are opening a factory in Jamaica. But here's this. So Jamaica has never exported aluminum, right? We dig up dirt, red dirt, bauxite, refine it into aluminum and aluminum oxide, and then export the red dirt. Somebody else is going to take it, refine it into aluminum, turn it into a can, and ship a can back to Jamaica with soda in it. And so we buy the finished product, which costs more. Guess who makes the most money? Not the person digging up the raw materials. We know that. Duh. Why didn't Jamaica have an aluminum smelter to create the aluminum parts? Well, because electricity was too expensive. But now that the government has done this LNG transition, electricity prices in Jamaica are coming down. JPS is putting in more efficient systems as well. They just retired the Hunts Bay station. So you're seeing efficiency. That's great. Prices come down. It means we can afford aluminum smelter. Well, the Chinese are working on a project, I believe is in Clarendon. And that's going to be what they call a light manufacturing city. They're taking one of the models they've used, whether it's in Suzhou or Xinjiang province, they're building a town, right? They already bought the bauxite plant, put in their own power plant, so now they can affordably convert it into aluminum. They're going to train 60,000 local Jamaicans. They're not bringing in Chinese. Going to train 60,000 Jamaicans who will be able to create light manufacturing. They're going to focus entirely on aluminum products. Create products in Jamaica, manufactured at good prices to then be able to sell to the rest of the world. That is a project going on right now, and we're going to hear a lot more about that. We need more of that to happen, but the more we talk about one person doing it, the more other people say, oh, Kratin, never think about that. Let's go. So that is where I would say more factories will come, and we can't just depend on the same Jamaican companies, because let's be honest, a lot of these Jamaican companies don't have that vision. It's taking outside people with more exposure, more vision to come in and show what can be done. Then the Jamaicans say, oh, Kratin, I can do that too, and then let's go. We need to talk about this more. So Maureen saying, no, we have lost our motivation to invest in Jamaica. You see other nationals invest in Jamaica better than we do. We do. I would love to work in Jamaica. Years of working in leadership and child protection. Jamaica needs help to make the country stronger. My vision to live there the next few years. You can't tell me anything negative about Jamaica. You have the same problems wherever you live. Love that one, Maureen. I love that. And I love that you want to focus on child protection. We see what is happening, and that's going to be critical. And that's the attitude we need. That rival any Singaporean in the way they talk about their country. I love that. I want you to motivate more people, Maureen. I want you to go back, talk about it at Sunday dinner, talk to the people at your church, talk to your group, and say exactly this to them about what is your vision and how you want to give back. Ask them how they intend to give back and what is their vision as well. And then get alignment with some people and work together. That's what I have to do. We have to come together, unite, and then work. Don't try it by yourself. I know we believe in this whole one cocoa full basket. The problem is most of us have our own basket that we fill in, and we're not throwing it into the same basket. So one cocoa, only full basket. If it's one basket, we put in the cocoa in. Let's put it in one basket or a few baskets, and then work together really closely. Definitely that. So Michelle on it. Do you still have the Bloomberg clip so we can view? Yes, I will. It should have been posted already on here, but you can go to davidmullings.com. Actually, it's on Bloomo. So if you go to bloomohocapital.com/media, you'll see the Bloomberg video is the first one that shows up. It was posted here on the YouTube link was posted here on the Jamaicans.com page. I'll probably have to upload it separately and then put it here in the Island Forward, set a clip so you can just follow that playlist as well. So, well, you can Google it if you actually do that. Michelle, if you Google Jamaica Stock Exchange, it shows up. If you Google Bloomberg Jamaica Stock Exchange, it shows up as well, and you can watch it. Let me know what you think, definitely. Jennifer, thanks for being so calm. I really admire that of you. I do have friends and help family members and friends, and when they get through to come and get on their feet, the family members and the friends are not very grateful, and sometimes it seems as though they are jealous of you and feel as though you should have given them everything a long time ago. And I think all of us have that. All of us have friends, all of us have co-workers, all of us have family members, even children, who have this sense of entitlement. And it's a part of life, it's a part of being a human. You have to simply react with love, right? Don't end up feeling a way, which we as Jamaicans, that's easy. Like, any little thing can make you feel a way, right? One step on your shoes, you feel a way. We have to practice love and say, you know what? I understand what you're saying, but I love you and I still contributed what I could have contributed to you. Here's what the reality was. You're now here. It's your turn to pay it forward. You cannot combat hate, as Martin Luther King says, by reflecting hate. And that's not how it works. You have to reflect love. So when they're jealous or envious, you can't reflect that back on them. You can't cut them off. That's not going to help. That's actually going to make it worse. What you need to do is embrace them. You invite them somewhere with you. Whether it's invite them to come and do a volunteer day with you, invite them to your church, whatever it is. Invite them to do something that's going to make them feel fulfilled from helping somebody else, and see that person smile and say, this is what I've been doing. You change people's perception of you when you do that, when you get them to do something that made them feel good. So that's what I would say, how you deal with it. That's how I deal with it. I seen Kai, you're active. I love this. We have ideas, but not the money. And the banks are more willing to work with people from other countries, not Jamaicans. So Kai, I'm going to actually completely disagree with you on that one. As someone that worked at a bank, there's a complete misunderstanding of how banks work. Banks lend you money when you don't need money. That's why they ask for collateral. Banks are not designed to take risk. And let's start with this. Jamaica had a financial crisis in the 90s. And what happened? Central National Bank, Eagle, NCB, all these things. We had a massive problem because they had lent money to entrepreneurs and went and bought real estate and lost the money. And because these banks collapsed, the government of Jamaica had to create something similar to what the US did, a Resolution Trust Corporation. We had to create FinSAC to bail out the savers whose money was on lend. Do you want the bank taking your hard-earned savings to lend to an entrepreneur with an idea that's not yet proven? No. That's not how banking works. The money you are supposed to get from the bank is after you've already scaled up and you have collateral, because we have to minimize the risk of the savers. Your initial startup money comes from people like me, comes from early stage investors, comes from private equity, venture capital, angel investors. Jamaica does not have a robust venture capital ecosystem. We're working on that now, but that's how it works. Don't go to the bank yet and don't cost the bank, because the bank have your money. The bank has your money and their job is to protect your money. If you wouldn't take the money out to go and invest in somebody's company, then the bank shouldn't do it because it's your money. So let's find the right set of people, but let us in the diaspora also pull together and help to provide financing for diaspora-led businesses that want to invest in Jamaica. Why don't we have a diaspora angel investor group? Why don't we have a diaspora venture capital group? It's not like we don't know how to do this. Some of us, we can pool our money together. So let's see where that goes. I seen Alicia. Truly, we need to do what we can and stop talking about the Chinese and others who are benefiting. Thank you, Alicia. And we done chat, man. We have to stop. Action, not a bag of mouth. Big up Nadine Sutherland. Bank fraud is an issue also, Pauline Simpson. Yes, and thankfully we now have the credit system in Jamaica, which is reducing bank fraud. But a real problem. Jamaica money not staying in Jamaica. So that's not true though, Gregory. Jamaica's money is going all over, but there's a lot of it staying in Jamaica. That's why real estate prices are going up, and that's why the stock market is going up. Because the money paid out by the government is not going back to government debt, and so it's being reinvested in Jamaica. Jamaica is not having some extra pressure on the dollar, right? The dollar actually strengthened over the last few days, right? We're back to 139, down from 142. That means there's less of a demand for US dollars, which would leave the country. So it is not true that Jamaica money is not staying in Jamaica. What is true is that we have lower foreign direct investment right now. We have lower FDI going into Jamaica. We, the diaspora, can play a role. We can invest our money down there. If there's anybody in the world who is going to have a higher risk tolerance for investing in Jamaica, it's us. We know the culture. We know the people. We know the companies. We should be putting our money down there then. You shouldn't be talking about Jamaica money not staying in Jamaica. Jamaica diaspora money not going to Jamaica to invest. That's what we need to be talking about. We need to be investing down there, because you know what? We get accused by Jamaicans in Jamaica, resident Jamaicans, that the diaspora is all talk and we don't put our money where our mouth is. That's not true though, right? All of you watching on here donate to Alumni Association, you're donating to your schools and giving back, especially your high school, your primary school, support your church or your historic church, your community center in your district. We're flying back, we're sending money down. We are doing things down there, but nobody's tracking it and aggregating it. Nobody's talking about it. But we do put our money where our mouth is. We just don't talk about it. We are raised to not brag, right? Jamaica, I said, the higher monkey climb, the more him batty show. Well, get over that. We need to talk about the positive impact the diaspora is having. We need to talk about the many healthcare trips that our Jamaican doctors and nurses going down, or we in our churches organize for Americans to come with us down to Jamaica and help with some eyesight surgery, or we donate a machine to a hospital, or we donate something for the classroom, computers and so on. We need to talk about those things more because we're doing them, and it will inspire other people to do them, and it will get resident Jamaicans to realize that we actually are doing stuff. So stop bad-mouthing us. Let's now find a way to work together. So Violet saying, teach cooperative economics. Yeah, man. I agree with that one, man. We've been too selfish. Kai saying, so isn't the Chinese doing small and medium size? The Chinese have taken over Linstead. Well, so we have to be, when he says the Chinese, you're talking about Chinese people, right? So you come from a country where you're struggling. You come over to Jamaica, for example. You work for a little bit on a Chinese construction site. Business ends. You like the country because it's very favorable to Chinese people, right? We treat Chinese people in Jamaica really good. And let's be honest, we love Chinese Jamaican food. It is nothing like American Chinese food at all. So they like it. So they decide, I'm going to start a little business. Here's what's missing in Jamaica. I have connections back into China because I'm Chinese. Reach out to my family, find something that I can bring over and start doing that import-export trading business. Why wouldn't they come, right? Jamaica is prettier than China. Let's start with that, prettier than China. Jamaica's air is cleaner than any city in China. Their money stretches further in Jamaica than China. When they want, less than an hour they probably can go any beach. Why wouldn't you want to stay in Jamaica? I don't care if you're Chinese, it could be Spanish. You come to Jamaica, you work in Jamaica, you're probably going to want to stay in Jamaica rather than go back and go put on mask and worry about virus, you worry about air pollution, you worry about traffic. I mean, yes, we have traffic in Jamaica, but there's nothing like China. So yes, Chinese individuals are setting up shops, but they've also seen that. That's not anything new. That's more than a century of Chinese people setting up shops. Syrians did it, the Lebanese did it as well. They come from places where they struggle. They come to Jamaica, they notice, wow, holy crap, lots of opportunity. I go into business here, I go set up shop here. And they're wondering, why are Jamaicans leaving? Right? But it's the same way that Jamaicans or Caribbean people come to the US, UK, or Canada. We notice, wow, what a land of opportunity. How is it that the Americans here have not taken advantage of some of these opportunities, right? I mean, that's a discussion I have here with Black Americans. I'm like, guys, you don't realize the gold mine that you have. But you grow up seeing it all the time. You don't notice what is in front of you. When you grow up in Jamaica or you grow up in China and you go to somewhere else, wow, I see opportunity everywhere. So I would say that's what's happening. Jennifer, I saw where Airbnb went out of whack because of greed. Oh, geez. And we don't seem to think through that part on the Airbnb side of things, but everybody buying up real estate to then go on Airbnb. But then supply and demand, right? Too much supply, we're going to push down prices. So let's see what happens there. I would like to open a birthing center for women. Wow, we should talk. My dad actually taught 4th and 5th year med students at UWI Obstetrics and Gynecology. He taught there for over 35 years. So retired now, happy to open doors for you down there. I think there's huge opportunity. I do have a friend I'd connect you with who is an OB/GYN practicing in Jamaica right now. Happy to make that connection for you, Zerika. I think that would be great. Gwendolyn, Chinese business persons seem to be doing well in Jamaica, but black business persons are murdered. Well, the Chinese business people who were murdered in Mandeville last year would disagree with you. That is only black business persons are being murdered. I think people in general are being murdered, and it has nothing to do with their race. It has to do with they have money, and people decide they want to take their money instead of going and work for the money. This is a safety issue that has nothing to do with race in Jamaica. In most cases, we don't even see race in Jamaica. We learn about race when we leave that country. We see color in Jamaica, right? Shades. I'm a uptown brown boy, blah, blah, blah. We don't look at people as black and white and yellow Chinese. We call him Chinaman, but that not in the sense of just purely race. It's still Jamaicans. We're out of many one people. So I wouldn't say that the Chinese business person seem to be doing well, but they only murdering black business people. That's not true. We're killing everybody. And that's the problem. We're having too many murders. So we need to continue. We need to actually have a real strategy for that. Sophia is saying, if more positive news comes out of Jamaica, I feel more people will be open to investing, among other things. 100% true, Sophia. That's something we learned from America. America has been really good at pushing out a certain image to the world and keeping certain things down. And then you come America and everyone's like, what? I didn't know California had such a homeless problem, right? I didn't know there are parts of Miami that look poorer than Jamaica. America is amazing at managing the narrative about their country, but that's because they own a lot of the media that we all then pay attention to, cable and so on. Jamaica needs to spend far more effort working on what is the narrative. So thankfully, in this April, we're going to have a really good positive image about Jamaica. It's called James Bond. The movie is called No Time to Die. And they shot a chunk of that in Jamaica. Positive image. Let's build on that. Let us be very careful about the stories that we promote about Jamaica. If you go to work and tell everybody that Jamaica not safe, then you're going to have a problem. Let me see, I get the message. Birth Center. Oh, we have a connect. So we have another connect for you on the Birth Center side. But yeah, we are ambassadors for Jamaica, whether or not we want to be. So if you go work and say, why them kill off people at Jamaica are getting them, I don't like Jamaica. What do you think is the message you're sending? Oh man, my Jamaican friend at work doesn't want to go to Jamaica. It's not safe. Really? You can't send that message. I love when I went to Bloomberg and I had to go and I did makeup, right? Okay, I didn't have to do any hair, but we did makeup. So I went to hair and makeup. I told them clearly I don't really need the hair part. And the first thing the lady says to me when she hears my accent, oh, you're Jamaican? I was like, yeah, I'm going to be on a segment talking about Jamaica and the performance of our market. And what does she say? Oh, I've been planning a trip and I'm considering Jamaica. And I said, where else are you considering? Oh, I haven't started looking at anywhere else yet. I said, well, you can stop now. You don't have to look at anywhere else. Only go to Jamaica. What are you looking for? And then she talks about what she's looking for, and I start telling her what parts of Jamaica she should consider visiting. That is what we need to be doing. We need to sell that positive image of Jamaica, because every person that I've met who has vacationed in Jamaica is talking about Dundro Falls, I'm talking about Appleton Rum, I'm talking about live reggae music, they're talking about the good weed, which is at least decriminalized in Jamaica now, and we need to own that. We actually really need to make sure we own that brand. That's what they're talking about. So let's own it. Let's run with that. All right, Deshaun, I would love to take part in the mentorship program, upcoming business owner here in Jamaica. What are the easiest ways to identify needs in Canada and the USA to make use of in Jamaica? Wow. That's actually a really in-depth question. You need to message me privately, Deshaun, so we can link up. You can go to davidmullins.com, or you can find me here on Facebook and send me a message, facebook.com/davidmullins. Happy to talk to you on the phone. I think that's one that's going to be a lot more of a 30-minute conversation. Gwendolyn, crab in a bucket mentality is strong against Jamaican business persons. Amen to that. Especially if you are educated abroad or lived abroad and try to bring that back to Jamaica, you're going to get pushback from Jamaicans. Oh, you're too foreign-minded. I worked in Jamaica 3 times, so I know. We have to get over that. How do you get people to overcome crab in a bucket mentality, though? That is something that's very hard. It's very cultural. I think any of us, certainly in the United States, can talk about it as minorities, as black people who they would rather pull you down when you come with a big idea rather than boost you up. When you trip and fall, they kick you while you're down. They don't help to lift you up. So it seems to be a cultural issue that we need to change. We have to take time to get people to realize that you don't need to be crab in a bucket. We need to be in a boat together and we're going to paddle. So that's a cultural thing we have to deal with. And it's not limited to just Jamaicans, though. But it is a minority problem. Diane, thank you very much for sharing. Diane, knowledge is power. Alicia, truly, we can and will end corruption in Jamaica. Yep, I'm committed to that. You're committed to that. I think we have 3 million people committed to that, whether or not they're in Jamaica. Dottie, good talk, handsome, gotta go. You're going to make me blush on camera. Thank you, Dottie. Nana, awesome. Thank you for the kind words. Diane is saying, thank God for you, because a lot of information you're providing is very helpful towards decisions making going forward. Respect. Yeah. Enough respect, one love. I appreciate that as well. Wow, let me see. Jennifer saying, I also want to say thanks for the info. Diane says you're appreciated. Diane, amen. Let's see. On Neto is saying, Jamaica as a country needs to reinvest in agriculture across the country. Israel has less fertile land but produces more than Jamaica. Jamaica must go digital and train our students in STEM to build our digital footprint. Oneta, boom, boom, boom. Back. That's all I can say. Bush shot for that because on point. On the agriculture side, Jamaica needs to stop worrying just about soil-based agriculture. That's why we learned from Israel. I actually saw the Prime Minister, OPM Live, they recently did early this week. You can go on Twitter and Facebook and see the recording. They talk about the Bernard Lodge development. I'm still reading the documents, wondering if that's a good use of some of that agricultural land, but it's about 53% agricultural land now in the revised version. And they are working with Israeli firms to train the Jamaicans to massively improve yields and productivity. So you said Israel, and that's exactly who Jamaica went to. So give credit to this administration. They have brought in some Israeli help to ensure that Jamaica finally gets more production per acre. So that's excellent. You talk about digital, you will probably hear about a deal with this soon, but there's a company I like in Jamaica called iCreate, and they're focused entirely on training people for the digital economy. And they have 3 campuses now open: Kingston, Portmore, and Montego Bay, up and running, listed on the junior stock market. That's something that's critical. We have to train our students in STEM and build their digital footprint. I am on the board of advisors for a group called the Caribbean School of Data, and it's housed at UWI, Mona School of Business. Next board meeting is coming up soon, but we partner with Google.org, Google's nonprofit arm. Over the next 3 years, we're actually training people in 6 Caribbean countries, Jamaica included, to be data literate. So not just computer literate, but we're teaching them data literacy. The first cohort just graduated last week. We intend to train about 2,000 marginalized youth on that. So this is between ages 14 and 21, lower income in most cases. You can Google Caribbean School of Data and you can read about that, or reach out to me. We have a mentorship program that's launching. We do want people from the diaspora to also do mentorship with these young people. So as you can tell, I'm very involved in Jamaica. I'm a mentor for the Branson Center of Entrepreneurship as well. If you want to do mentorship stuff in Jamaica or want to connect with any of these programs, just email me, text me, call me, message me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Happy to open those doors and make sure we in the diaspora can give back. Because we have, it don't have to be money, but we have skills, we have knowledge, we have contacts, we have our network, we can give back. Gregory Johnson, we also need to do a better job feeding ourselves and slow down imports. Boy, so as you bring that up, you want me to get upset. Jamaica has a food import bill of $800 million US. Jamaica, with all the land we have, with all the food we can grow, we import $800 million worth of food, right? We're all importing pepper mash, because hurricane mash up pepper. We have to import that food, especially the vegetables, through Miami mainly, because we're not growing them down there at the kind of quality and in the quantities that the hotels need. The hotels need to serve certain foods. Thankfully, there is a tourism linkages group that's been formed. That is something that the Ministry of Tourism and the Ministry of MICAF, Industry, Commerce, actually worked on. Adam Stewart is one of the key players from Sandals and Beaches. He's one of the key players with that tourism linkages group. So you can Google Jamaica Tourist Linkages Group. And that is helping now to help small farmers and medium-sized farmers get up to speed to sell the stuff to them. Because we would actually massively save US dollars if we could reduce, right? Let's just chop off 100 million. Jeez, man, that's a lot. 800 million of imports. There's a lot that Jamaica could replace, right? So we feed ourselves, we import less. But at the same time, we need to think of it this way. It's not about reducing imports. It's about increasing exports. There are things that you just can't make in Jamaica, cell phone, car, and so on. As people move into middle class, they're going to spend that money. They're going to buy stuff. Let's make it so that when they buy the foreign stuff we don't have, it's still allowing Jamaica to have more money because we export more, right? Germany imports a lot of stuff, but they export a lot of stuff as well. So let's increase earnings, let's increase exports. I think all of us watching this would talk about how good any fruit, a mango, oh gosh, we talk about Julie mango in Jamaica, how good that tastes. Banana from Jamaica. You ever eat a Chiquitas or Dole banana in America? Have you tried to peel one of those bananas? And no banana that. So Jamaica, for the most part, is organic food. We need that to be certified, and we're gonna sell it. Let's sell it here in the US. Fertilizer already costs too much money. Half the farmers can't afford it, so it's automatically organic. Let's get that certified and let's export more. And yes, let's reduce some of that food import bill. I see your reasoning sound. I believe everyone benefits from a better economic system. I agree. Trading is key with research and development. And then 4 flags. I love it. Alicia, oh yes, you're right. In response to my earlier comment, we all leave to fulfill our personal goals. I just wanted to relate how it affects our country and education system and show how necessary it is to give back in whatever way we can. And I love that. It is important. You should never forget who and what helped you to get where you are today. So if you went to primary school, prep school, or even high school in Jamaica, don't forget how critical that was to you being where you are today. That base, that sense of self, that pride that Jamaica instilled in us, let's be honest. Jamaicans go anywhere in the world and we're bossy. Let's be honest, we're bossy, we walk tall. I've been accused so much, oh Jamaicans, you're so proud. Yeah, we're little but we're taller. Like, how many world records you guys have? Which music you do? You know Bob Marley? You know Jimmy Cliff? You know Rita Marley? Like, hello? Of course Jamaicans bossy, we're going so. So we're going to walk into the building, you know, say, it's a Jamaican that, I know it's a Jamaican that. Let's be honest, we have contributed to many countries, especially US and Canada and UK though, at all levels, business, politics, non-profit. We deserve to be bossy. I'm sorry, like if you're offended about that, then do better. Sorry. So yes, let's give back because Jamaica helped to instill that in us. How many, just look at the difference between Black Americans and Jamaicans. That's a fundamental difference in the way that Jamaica helped us to think different. Black Britons, the same thing. Jamaica instilled a sense of self, a sense of purpose. Big up Marcus Garvey for a lot of that, right? Yes, we still have more work to do to free ourselves from mental slavery, but we have emancipated ourselves from a lot of the mental slavery that other minorities are still dealing with. And remember this, in Jamaica when you were growing up, you saw black business owners. You saw women in politics and at top business positions. You saw black politicians, a black governor of the bank. Like, hello, black lawyers, black doctors, ordinary thing that. And then you go to the Canada, USA, UK, and they're just like, oh, wait, where are the black doctors, lawyers, politicians, right? They're up in arms. Wow, finally got a black president, Barack Obama, 2000. Really, 2008, 2012, that's the stuff we're talking about? Took long, man. They're just seeing that they can accomplish those things, right? Jamaica, we know that a long time. Because we sprinting and winning stuff. These guys are going, oh, Serena, Venus, Tiger Woods, amazing. Yeah, well, from the 40s, we're run and we're win Olympic medal. Right? Let's be honest. Hello, Jamaica been doing this. You guys never noticed that some black people over here been crushing it? Hello, come check us out. So yeah, man, I love your points of statements. Thanks, Gwendolyn. I'm trying. All right, Jackie, hello. Hi, Jackie. Colin, the word invest has different meaning to, the word invest does have different meaning to different people. I agree with that. David from Real Vibes. Yes, Kevin, this is the same David. Launch Real Vibes with our brother. Yes, respect, man. That's some old school stuff. I like that. Garth, good lunchtime conversation. Keep up the good work and education. Heading back to work now, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, Garth. You can watch the rest of the video when you're done. Winston is saying anything Jamaica is doing and you put Jesus Christ in the midst of it will work in Jesus Christ's name. Hey, if that's what worked for you, do it. Lily saying true thing, the chin. Marine, Jamaicans.com, love the positive energy. Speak more of the positive things we want to see and do our part. I appreciate that. That's all I'm here to do, is just to bring positivity into your life, speak with facts, speak from personal experience, research, and bring knowledge back to you so you can make your own decision. I'm not here to tell you, I'm not here to preach to you, I'm just here to talk about what I'm seeing and why I feel that way. Alicia is saying so much of what you're discussing is knowledge that need to be had by the common people. How can we bring this kind of knowledge to the masses? One simple way Partner with some dancehall artists. We need to go link with Beanie Man, Bounty Killer, Popcorn, all those people. That is how you get it to the masses. Years ago, we were a co-sponsor of the RETV high school tour. 10 schools, I remember going to Tivoli Gardens High, all these places for HIV/AIDS awareness. The amount of people that came out to come and see these artists and see them perform and hear them talk about HIV/AIDS and how to protect yourself. We have to admit that is how you get to the people. Hip-hop has done it in the United States. Dancehall and reggae is the voice of the people. We shouldn't ostracize those people. We should get them to understand how they are role models, whether or not they want to be. They are role models for a group of people, the common people. Because those songs, when Bounty Killer is talking about, look into my eyes, tell me what you see, can you feel my pain, am I an enemy, right? He's talking about his personal experience in the ghetto and how he's treated, which is a different experience from uptown or from rural Jamaica. We need to get those people to the table, let them know how they can be powerful allies, and then allow them to bring us into their spaces and then talk to these people and share that knowledge. That's how I think we need to do it. You can tell, I love my dancehall. We have to do that. We need to work in concert with those people and use our music, right? The Bank of Jamaica winning awards for using reggae music to talk about inflation. Come on, man. Jamaica is a vibes country, real vibes country, musical. Let's leverage that. That's how we get to the masses. Lily, okay, Gwendolyn said crowdfunding, joint venture, capital business should be feasible. I agree, 100%. Kai is saying there are so many unemployed youths in and around my community. I've had so many ideas that could create earning opportunities. I have the land, but not enough money. How do I approach an investor and be taken seriously? You need to email me. Go to davidmullins.com, fill out the contact form. We have to talk, Kai. I literally mentor 12 people right now. I've helped other people raise money. I help with their decks. I help them raise capital, point them in the right place. Recently just mentored a young lady. The Ministry of Education had me come down for their LIT program to do a CEO roundtable talk. 30 students, twice. I did it 2 days in a row. And I mentored one of the young ladies there. I gave out my cell phone number. A bunch of them WhatsApp me, mentoring someone. She said, hey, David, I'm entering this business plan competition at UWI that our student guild is putting on. And I'd win 2 million Jamaican. 30 of us enter. Can I help? I said, yes, I'll make time to help you. And she sent me her deck. I helped her. I gave her some stuff to read. We tweaked her deck. Had her think about her business, what she would do with the money, structuring things, get more focus. Pitch, she ended up being in the top 8. And then she messaged me 2 weeks ago. She came first place, won 2 million Jamaican dollars. And she came first place. She got the sectional prize for most investment ready business. I do this all day. Some people pay me to do this stuff. I'm happy to help you put together whatever business plan you need and help you get your thing structured so that people will take you seriously, because we need more of this happening, especially female entrepreneurs. We especially need to support female entrepreneurs of color. Count me in. I sit on the board of Fund Black Founders. I'm a director for that company, a US-based website, female, and I'm helping her as well. Link me, davidmullins.com. Easiest person to find in the world. We need to talk. Gregory is saying many countries in the Caribbean make it almost impossible for outsiders to purchase land. We should always keep our land. Rent or lease is okay. I definitely disagree with that one. We're not trying to be like the rest of the Caribbean. We should learn from Singapore. You learn from China. You learn from the United States. Like, don't worry about the land. Yes, if the government own it, we want to hold on to it. But all we need to encourage foreign investment to then uplift people and get them moving into the middle class. Dottie, I love to give my Jamaican friends, but I can't until I can take it, not when they need it, because it costs 5 times the amount of the item to mail it, and maybe they'll actually get it eventually. So sad. Well, you need to check out ShipMe as one way to get it down there. It's way cheaper to send it that way to their mailbox in the US, in Miami. That then brings it down. So check out ShipMe as an option. That's much cheaper to send it down. We still do have problems with customs though. So I know how you stay. Most of us hold on to it. When we fly down, we carry it with us, and we go to the nothing to clear line, and we carry it home. So that needs to be changed though. I agree. Dini, I agree that Jamaicans in the diaspora can be a big part of the economy. I read that Chinese in the diaspora had a big part in the growth in China, that they contributed financially toward their economy. So they did, but there are two other groups that had a bigger influence on the economic growth of their countries. Israel, and they have a diaspora bond, and India. Those two and their diasporas have had a massive impact, more than the Chinese, outside Chinese had on the China economic growth. If you go right now, I see the ads all the time from India's Overseas Investment Group. That's a government entity that gets Indians overseas to invest back into India, and is also courting international investors. So India and Israel are the two best examples for us to actually look at. And I know Jamaica has been having discussions about the diaspora bond stuff with World Bank consultants, with Israel helping out. Oneto, totally agree. Ambassadors for Jamaica always tell people Jamaica is no less safe than Chicago, New Orleans, NYC, Philadelphia, and any other major country. Well, so it is not as safe as them, but it's no different from them in the sense of, where to go, where not to go, how to protect yourself. Zerika, I know that's why I want to retire there. I really don't care what anyone says about my country. Denise saying, how do I email you? Super easy. David@bluemahocapital.com. Or you can go to davidmullings.com or bluemahocapital.com. If you find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, send me a message. I actually respond and read that stuff. So let's get set up. How do I go about opening the birthing center? Zerika, we have to do a call. I can't answer that here. We will do a call. I love it though. Most definitely need to increase export in Jamaica. We're some proud people. Yes, Sophie, very. Denny says, my husband, who's not Jamaica, always says he's never known a more proud group of people as Jamaicans. Yeah, man, I love it. Gregory said, I imported a product, but the import cost was overwhelming. Product was selling well here, but even though the containers were coming up empty, still had ones here. Your talks have been pulling me back in. Good. I want to pull it back in, Gregory. Pull it back in, rope it back in, try it. Sophia, we're still running and winning. I mean, that's how we go. Jamaica, big youth, yeah. Joe, hi, Joan. Kevin is saying, yeah, I was jam talk. Yeah, been a minute, Kevin. Joan, great idea. Sophie said, quite refreshing to hear this live. Was scrolling and found you feeling renewed and strengthened in my love for Jamaica. One love, that's what I love about this. Oh gosh, you see, I never even stayed the 1 hour. I've gone longer because you guys feed my soul. I'll be honest, you literally feed my soul. I love this. Anita is saying, I am a diaspora who believes in giving back. We need for chat. We'll link you. Message me, call me, text me direct, please. Suze, hello. Hi, Suze. Joan says, what is the website? davidmullings.com is a personal. bluemahocapital.com is a business website. You can find me. You can actually Google David Mullings. You can find me as well. So that's how you get to me, Ava. Easiest speech. Number, he want me to give up my phone number. All right. For those of you still watching, here's my phone number. 407-513-2801. Again, 407-513-2801. But text me first. That's my Google Voice number. Text me and let's set up a call. I can get in my calendar. I really just take random calls because kind of in the middle of something right now, especially after the Bloomberg appearance. So 407-513-2801. Send me a text and then let's get on a call. So Zerika, Suze, everybody at work. Come on, Suze. Nothing wrong with that. You're doing work right now. So that's how you get to me, guys. That's the number. That's the set of websites. You can come to me through Jamaicans.com as well. I really, really appreciate the time. This has been an amazing experience. I want to say it is now 2:30. So we went 30 minutes over the time allotted. It's obvious I need to do a longer show than 1 hour going forward. I will do a live show again next week. I do not have a recorded one to go and post, so that's fine. He said, Anita, first time seeing you, happy to hear you. So informative and inspirational, really good in all caps. Like, man, you guys can make me blush on camera again. I really genuinely appreciate that. This is all I want to do. I live for putting news, knowledge, facts, information, and positive energy into your life. Really appreciate it. Next week, I'm going to have fun. I believe I'm going to have to do it on Thursday, but you'll see the calendar show up. Really, really appreciate it. Look at it, Sister Suze. Did you write the number down? Yes, I did. I love it. It's like double checking. But your worst case scenario, Google David Mullings. I guarantee you can find it. Because even my phone number shows up. I cannot hide it. So please, we're going to finish this video. I'm going to click finish. I'm going to save the video, and then you guys share it. Share the video on your profile. Share it with your friends. Get them to watch it. If anybody come badmouth Jamaica, tell them, say, hey, David Mullins are come for you now. Watch the video. So share it, promote it, and let's get the diaspora doing some bigger things, because it's one love for Jamaica. So let me say, big up, enough respect. You missed the beginning, Cheryl. When I finish, you can go back and watch the beginning, Cheryl. We're talking about how do we get Jamaica to be seen as the Singapore of the Western Hemisphere and grow this country, grow this economy, give back. So big up, Gwendolyn. I say Lincoln said, in the UK, we'll check you out and sleep well. See how the goes on, already sharing. All right, man. All right. So let me hang up. Let me get off now. We'll do some more videos next week. I am so excited. I have to go like run outside or something, man. I pumped so much energy. Look at Aina community. Nice show. Thank you, David. Very informative. I appreciate that. I really appreciate all the messages. I will respond to messages afterwards as well. When I get some time. So those of you who did ask to connect with me, I will send you some messages as well. So happy, appreciate it. I've seen the loves, the likes, everything coming up, man. This is excited too. So I hope I can go back to your work now. Excited. Zerika, enjoy the chat. We go and chat, Zerika. We definitely going to talk. Thank you, everyone. Do conferences. Yeah, well, let me talk to Jamaicans.com about that. I will talk to Jamaicans.com. I do have speaking engagements coming up. You will see them. So not in the UK. I do have Canada later this year. I'll be in New York and a few other places, Connecticut in April. So love it. Really appreciate it. I am humbled by all the feedback, the engagement. I don't even know what else to say when you're working and watching. No problem. We know you're going to only work because you can't stop watch. Thank you, everyone. Remember to share. Love you. One love. Big up.